Not 80 calories. Welcome to TWEED. I'm trying this new flavor probiotic. I love a probiotic. I love a kombucha, a good kombucha. I was at one of my favorite grocery stores today, one of my favorite grocers today, Aldi, and they have this new drink, this new soda. It's a probiotic, strawberry mint peach. Now that's an interesting flavor combination, right? So I was like, I like strawberry, I like peach. You throw in the mint in there, that's a little, I don't know. And it's interesting. It's interesting. It's not nasty, but the mint, you're just like, huh, okay. It's interesting. Now, I put out the last episode of TWEED a couple of days ago, assuming that this video comes out when I want it to come out, which is tomorrow, Monday. About the first episode of Jerrod Carmichael reality show. The first episode about his mom being, the prime subject. And then I did not know that there was going to be another episode all about her. So I had zero plans to record any videos or content or whatever on any episodes of this man's show, but they continue to hit close to home. This episode, titled Cynthia, which is his mom's name, was more awkward than the last. So I just watched it a couple of, maybe, I don't know, 45 minutes ago. That lady. So first of all, if you haven't watched his show, or the 8 episodes that are out, I don't know how many episodes there are going to be. But if you haven't watched the show, I would recommend it, but know that it's cringe. Know that some of it's very cringe and uncomfortable. But 2, once you have watched, these episodes, go back and watch the two episodes of TWEED that I have published or posted about the first episode centered around his mom, and the episode centered around his dad. Jesus, the drama that these two people have inflicted on this man's life. So this episode, again, titled Cynthia, is another episode where Jerrod it seems like he's trying to bridge the gap between the two. Because, again, him coming out drove such a wedge between them in their relationship. And apparently they used to be very close. They used to talk almost daily. When he was younger, much younger, they were almost inseparable, and him coming out was the shift in their relationship. And so this whole thing has been about him trying to, I guess, figure that out or reconnect or bridge the gap or whatever. And so this particular episode, it shows us more of her. And there were so many interesting little pieces of this episode that I was just like, oh my God. I don't know, I think it was about maybe halfway through the episode. I rewound this part like 2 or 3 times. His mom it looks like she's like on like a little picnic in the park with, I think one of his good friends. I can't remember her name, but and it's just them two, and they're talking, and the good friend asks his mom, like, how are you liking, spending time here? Because she was visiting him in New York from North Carolina, South Carolina, one of the Carolinas. So the first thing she says is, I'm enjoying spending time with Jerrod and his friend, which, black people, come on. Black folks, come on. It is 2024. We're not doing friend no more. We're not doing that no more. So she's like, yeah, he and his friend, that's just what I choose. And everything with her boils down to choice. Like, she feels that being gay is a choice, and that, he and I guess all gay people, choose this lifestyle, and they choose to feel the way that they feel, whether it's about their sexuality or whatever. And so she's like, well, that's my choice. I choose to say friend. And so this Jerrod's friend, the lady that's sitting there, I really wish I could remember her name. She kind of pushes back on that. She says, well, it seems like you're uncomfortable with, saying boyfriend. And confusingly, his mom says, no, not at all. I don't feel uncomfortable with that at all. But are you sure? Because it seems like you do. You are uncomfortable. She basically says, why am I being made to feel bad for my choice and my belief? And the friend says, well, I don't think anyone's making you feel bad. I just think they're calling you to do better. I screamed. I yelped. I screamed. I paused the TV. Because I said, that's it right there. That is it right there. No one is attacking you. No one is trying to make you feel bad. If anything, you are trying to make someone else feel bad. And because this particular person that you are making feel bad cares for you, he's just wanting you to do better. He's wanting better for you. He's wanting better for himself. And he's wanting better for his relationship with you, y'all's relationship, your relationship. That's all. He wants it better. He wants you to think more, think clearly, think on a higher level, think for yourself. And again, as I have said in these last 2 episodes, so many parallels between that, his dynamic with his mom, and mine with mine. Because when I had that conversation with my mom last year, one of the way we parted was in an embrace, and with me saying, I want you to be better, and I want us to be better. That's all. That's all. That's all we as little gay black boys and who grow up to be black men who were not or never affirmed by our parents. That's really all we want, is for you to do better. Because we see how this way of thinking is not serving this relationship, and if you claim to value this relationship as you say you do, then why can't you just think a little more? Why can't you go a little bit deeper? And later on, we see, and I am so glad that he did this, he made her go to a therapy session. And she was resistant to that. So it's just like, literally, she said, another moment in a park, Jerrod and his mom, they're now talking like on a bench, and she's like, well, I'm doing this, but I don't know what else you want from me. And his response was, therapy tomorrow, 11 o'clock. And she's like, okay, but, so she puts up these stipulations. One session, and it can't be more than an hour and a half or whatever. And yes, I know that that's kind of for whatever reason, well, I'm sure for many reasons, Black people, especially Black people of older generations, have this hesitance, this reluctance towards therapy, which passes down to us because now when we are the ones who seek therapy, we're the unicorns, we're the black sheep, we're the ones processing all this shit, and then we try to bring the information and the healing back to those who put us in therapy in the first place, and they're like, hell no. So they go to this therapy session. Actually, it seems like maybe before the session, his mom has some one-on-one time with this therapist, and the therapist is basically saying, okay, so you feel this way. Why do you feel this way? And why is it that you can't come a little further, towards him, or, to open up and maybe see things a little differently? And basically she says, because I don't want to. Simple as that. I don't want to. And so Jerrod even talks about it in this episode. He's in this weird place where he, on one hand, loves her deeply and will do anything to protect her, and on the other hand, just wants to completely obliterate her. And it's not, I guess for me, it's not on such extremes. But I can fully understand, having this love and respect for this person on one hand, and on the other hand, just being like, I could say some shit if I didn't filter the things that if I didn't filter the things that I say to you, it would probably destroy you. So I have to really pause and truly think about what the things that I'm going to say, because I see you in the way that you don't even see yourself. And I see you as perhaps this relic in a time where that way of thinking is going away, and you actively want to hold on to it. You actively want to drag your knuckles, and you actively want to be ignorant. And so if I said the things as they popped into my head to you, which I think he kind of does, to be honest. I don't know if he filters at all, but if I just let it flow without going through any type of filter, it would probably destroy you. A surprising turn of events, at least to me, Jerrod has found a church, or he goes to church in New York, which is kind of a, I don't know if it's non-denominational, but it is like welcoming. It's a welcoming church to the LGBTQ plus community. And so he invites his mother and Mike, his boyfriend, to this church. Now, no, that's what I'm not gonna be doing. One, I'm not gonna find a church. Two, actually, there is no two. No, one, I'm just not gonna find a church. Because I talked about this a little bit in the last episode of Tweed. I'm just not a church goer. If that's your thing, you do your thing. For me, it's almost like been there, done that. His mom seems to be very much enjoying it, and I'm just like, wow, okay, this is, if you're going to bridge the gap, this is a good place. This is a pretty good place to start. Kind of. So last episode we saw him going to her church at the very end of the episode. This episode shows her coming to his church. Those two things, I'm like, you know what? Good idea, because obviously that's something that she connects very deeply with. And I think that's a really good way in. Now, at one point in this episode, she once again says to him, yes, I would love for you not to be gay. I would love for you to find a female. Now, that's a whole different conversation. I really need us to stop with female and male. But I would love for you to find a female and stop, this lifestyle and choosing males and blah, blah. Like, all of her language is just so problematic. It is so incredibly problematic and so archaic that it's almost like you don't know where to start. And again, I can relate. It's like, Jesus, okay, you hitting me from 3 or 4 different directions, and I don't know which one to try to correct first. That shows this love that you have for this person, for this parent, for this guardian is, damn, I see the ways in which you are deficient, and I want so deeply for you to do better, but you seem to be so willing to stay and be stuck in this mindset that is causing a real rift between us. And even in the therapy session, the therapist kind of gets through to her and said, basically she confesses that the fact that they now go weeks without talking makes her very sad. And she chokes up a little bit. And I'm just like, well, girl, this is kind of your own doing. This is your own making. Like, he would not have a reason to not speak to you if you would not be such a problem. So there's a part of the episode where, again, she's like, I want you to find a female. And then he says, well, how would you even think that I might go about doing that? And she says, well, of course, I'm going to say Jesus. I'm going to say pray. And so he's like, okay, I'll pray with you. Why? Because you... And he even says, like, afterwards, he immediately regretted it. Because it's like, because she was so happy afterwards. She was so happy. Because you know that she thinks that this is his way of saying, you know what? I think I have been wrong this whole time. I think I've made the choice. It feels like she thinks that he's acquiescing to what she's been saying this whole time, and that we know that is not the case. So he agrees to pray with her, or let her pray, or whatever. And so she starts out good, she starts out fine, and then she goes into And Lord, please let Jerrod, put away these feelings and find a female and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh my God. Do you know what I would do? The way I would immediately stop and yank my hands away and be like, girl, let's stop it. I wouldn't have been able to sit through something like that. So the episode kind of ends with 5 months after her visit to New York, which I think that was maybe the first time, where he's actually coming back home. Him and Mike have come back home, I guess, for a second time, and it seems kind of sweet, and we see his mom and Mike in the kitchen. Kind of looks like they may be preparing, a meal or something, and it leads us to believe that, things are getting better. Yeah, it takes patience. It takes patience to try to mend a relationship like that. It takes patience, it takes time, where it would be so easy to just be like, girl, fuck it. I'm not gonna deal with this. I don't have to deal with this. As he has said, he's the one paying the bills. Like, I think he pays for, I don't know, I think he pays for their house, or he has paid for their house. He pays, I think, for their insurance, whatever. So it's like, girl, I could, if I really wanted to. If I really wanted to, girl, I could cut y'all ass off, and I don't know what the fuck y'all gonna do. Yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult. So, yeah, like, this was I had no plans of doing another episode on this show, but when I saw that episode was out, I was like, oh shit. Like, I have more things to say. I have more things to to discuss, to talk about. I've been given more ammunition. I should say ammunition. I've been given more material. Got to do better. You've got to do better by your children. As old girl said, we just want you to do better. That's it. It's like you got to a certain point as an adult, and you found Christ, or you found religion or whatever, and that's where you stop. That's where you stop learning. That's where you stopped growing. That's kind of where you just put your brain on autopilot and was like, yes, this is the thing. Whatever you say goes. You took this religion, you took this text and said, this is it. There is nothing else beyond this. No one's going to teach or tell me anything more or else or different. And anything that goes against this simply has no place in my life. And so you walk through the world completely limited and completely judgmental of things that are outside of your limited world view. There was also, after the church scene, after they go to Jerrod's church, they meet with the pastor of the church, which I love this as well, because the pastor, they're talking to the pastor, and the pastor educates, he educates his mom on the Bible. Basically, he says, I don't understand why people, pick and choose certain things of the Bible. The Bible also says love unconditionally. The Bible also says, thou shalt not judge. But you, Cynthia, you're not focusing on those. And that is almost always the crux. That is almost always the issue with religious people who are homophobic, is like they will pick and choose certain parts of the Bible and even take things out of context without any of the other shit that. And so I love that the pastor is like, no girl. No, like, what are you gonna do? And so I like that there were moments where there were maybe 2 or 3 moments in this episode where she was just kind of like, she had to just shut up. Because you can tell that she has just kind of gone through life saying, kind of just like, almost being like a tank. Like, this is what it is, and this is what it says, and this is wrong, and I don't care, and blah, blah, blah. But then, obviously, not at all listening to or paying attention to anybody else that has a different opinion. So in that moment when she was talking to the pastor, I was very curious, like, what was going on in her head? Like, was the cognitive dissonance like kicking in? Like, what was going on? Because here you have this pastor, this man of God, telling you something that goes against what I'm assuming your pastor has been preaching to you. So what's going through your head now? Like, now what are you thinking? So yeah, this was a good episode. This was a good episode. It shed more light on their relationship. And I don't know where I would like to see their relationship go, to be honest. I mean, obviously, Jerrod wants, them to be close-knit, like I guess they were, but me being a uninterested third party, I'm like, child, it could go either way for me and I'll be happy. It could go literally either way and I'll be happy. That lady wears me out. And I guess I should say I am grateful that my mom is not as staunch as she is. But yeah, at the same time, you're just like, Jesus, like it's so easy and so clear to me. Why is this not resonating? Why is this not clicking for you? Yeah, so thanks for watching this episode of Tweed. If you've liked or found some type of value out of this, please do hit the thumbs up. Share with someone you think might get something out of this. Comment your thoughts. I'd love to hear them. And hit the notification bell so that once I do post something, you will know. But yeah, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Tweed. This ain't bad. Would I buy it again? Maybe. But yeah, it's strawberry mint pea. The mint, it's refreshing. It's refreshing. It's a perfect kind of summer, kind of refreshing kind of drink. So anyway, thanks again for watching. And yeah, I'll talk to you soon. Deuces.